Okay, so I made a video, I think, why I'm vegan recently, and I wanted to make another video about veganism in regards to meta ethics, just ethics in general. I'm not, maybe not the best at vocalizing these kinds of opinions, but I'm going to do my best. I guess this video, I don't know what the topic will necessarily be. I think it's more going to be about living within a world in which it is normalized to treat and abuse animals in the way that we do. I mean, we essentially, for no better word that I can think to use, we do essentially holocaust animals, right? Just look up the definition of the word holocaust. We, as humans, we appear to create arbitrary distinctions. We categorize things. If we say that pigs and cows and chickens are kind of sprung into existence for our own pleasure, our own satisfaction, our own nutritional requirements, then that is apparently what cows and chickens and pigs, fish are for, right? Many people I don't think stop to think about why is that, okay? Why is the reason that pigs and cows and chickens and fish and all these other different animals, these beautiful animals that share the planet with us, they have a conscious experience. They have sentience, meaning they're able to experience and perceive pain and respond to their surroundings. They feel emotions. They can display high levels of empathy. Like, I don't think many people stop to think about this because it is so ingrained into our cultures and our societies, and we don't realize that all nutrition, in the sense of like the micronutrients that you would get from food, originally is derived from plant matter, and then we eat the farm animals eat that plant matter, and then they have the nutrients inside them, and then we eat the animals. So it's just basically getting the nutrition secondhand from the animal, along with a lot of saturated fat and cholesterol, which dietary cholesterol typically raises your LDL cholesterol, which is your bad cholesterol, and increases the risk of building arterial plaque in your arterial wall and can lead to the biggest cause of death pretty much worldwide, heart disease. So obviously there's a cycle of pain here, and I think in regards to the ethics of the situation, for you to be able to actually justify what we're doing to animals, you need to be able to name a trait lacking in animals which, if present in humans, would justify killing and slaughtering us for food. If you're not able to do that, this is a famous name the trait argument from animal rights advocate Peter Singer. It's a really good argument because that you can bring up some other, you could bring up, okay, humans have the ability to introspect. Humans have higher levels of intelligence. Okay, if intelligence or introspection are the traits which make it justifiable to slaughter and eat animals, to artificially inseminate female cows, then why do we not do this to disabled human beings, or a human being that is in a coma, or a human being that has had an injury? We don't do this because that we recognize that maybe they're part of the same species as us. Well, then it's speciesism, because that surely if I was, this is a horrible analogy, but if I or somebody else was skinning a dog in the middle of the street, most people have a pretty huge problem with that. I'd go to prison. So in a world in which I cannot just skin a dog in the middle of the street, which is pretty good, by the way, somebody can call me a scumbag for doing that, put me in prison for the rest of my life, but then they can be walking to the city centre the next day, see a truck full of pigs that are on their way to be holocausted, and that's perfectly acceptable. That's just the way that society functions. That's normal, folks. It's just ridiculous. So to be morally consistent, I think that animal rights is a logical extension of human rights, okay? Whether these are written in law or not, the planet would be a better place if people were vegan, okay? There's a lot of conspiracy theories out there about avocados and all these other things. Yes, there are plant foods that take up a lot of land and a lot of resource and a lot of water, but the majority of this plant matter is going to feed the animals. It's going to feed the animals. We're feeding the animals so that they can get to an appropriate weight and size, so that then we can eat the animals, okay? So let's just stop breeding the animals, allow them to have the life that they're going to live, and then just stop breeding the animals, okay? Also, Alex O'Connor, so I'm going to bring up Alex O'Connor, or Cosmic Skeptic, which I think he's changed his name recently. Really disappointing video that he made on veganism lately, talking basically about how veganism essentially doesn't appear to be enough, or that being vegan doesn't appear to be the answer, and that he's taking away his own personal moral responsibility, you know. Can you imagine if there was a situation in which we were still enslaving individuals of a different colour? And can you imagine if I said that I think it's really bad that we do this. I'm going to personally contribute to it for selfish reasons, but I think it's awful that we're doing it. I'm going to give my money to directly contribute to it. And I think it's awful, but we need a change in the actual government. We need the people in higher power to change the situation. You know, I don't think boycotting and changing my personal decisions, it's just completely like shifting any of the blame away from himself and putting it onto society. You know, and I just think it's also more sad to see when it's someone of such high influence as well. You know, Alex O'Connor is an intelligent individual who has a large following. And it's unfortunate because, you know, it's kind of feeding into this anti-vegan propaganda that like veganism is not actually benefiting the planet in which we live. It's not benefiting the animals that are actually being holocausted and raped and killed and having their throats slit open. And it's to be honest, it's disgusting, you know. And I think the likes of Alex O'Connor should really take a hard look at themselves and introspect and think, maybe I have a lack of introspection. Like, why is he not, like, I think the reason he stopped being vegan was like nutritional deficiencies or problems, which just means he wasn't educated enough on the vegan diet in and of itself and how to get enough nutrition. I mean, there's thousands of plant foods that we can eat, thousands, and typically people eat between 5 to 6 animal products maybe. Like your average person, like I don't think they're eating that many animal products, okay, on a daily basis. So I think it's just excuses, and I think that he's just selfish. And what's more annoying is that he can't just admit that it's selfishness, right? He can't admit that we do have a personal moral obligation to not go out of our way to give money to an organization, a company, a system in which is systematically torturing and killing animals, okay? It's awful. So yeah, watch the documentary Dominion, and just educate yourself on the vegan diet as well. And if you can't name the trait lacking in animals, which if present in human would justify killing, slaughtering humans, then I don't think you have much excuse to not be vegan, really. Yeah, cheers.